Okay, welcome to week 13. We're going to finish up Excel this week, and we're also going to talk about
the payroll.
I just wanted to go through a few things and then point out a couple
we are going
things
to
that
be
are
talking
out there.
about charts
So,
or graphs
to find
in
the
Excel.
file. So
This
how
is
do we
gonna
get a
be
picture
in
of our
your
data that we can use for presentations and meetings
because
sometimes
for
explains
Excel.
what we want to get across
So wherever
to
you
our audience
happen
a lot better.
to put your Excel chapter
The
2
assignments this
folder,
week, you are going to be doing something from
that's the one
chapter
you're gonna
2 in
look for.
Excel,
So
and
the
the
Excel
file for
chapter
this
2,
is in
it's the payroll
the
file.
chapter 2 Excel folder.
And
it's a
this is
payroll
kind of
one.
a little
It's got a lot of
challenging
formulas
one
in
on
it, so it's a
formulas.
really good practice
Down
for the
at
formulas.
the bottom, it tells you how each of those are
And
calculated.
there's a separate video
so
on
it'll
this
tell you
particular assignment.
how all of those are
You're going to
calculated.
read the chapter, go
all
through
of
the
our
videos
assumptions,
for chapter 3
and
like
these are
you did
things
before,
that we are going to be
and then
using
do hands
for
on
every
exercises
row
1, 2, and 3
from
in
the
our
book,
table
from the
are down
e-text.
here.
So one of the
As well
things
as
that we need
going
to
out
know
to
is
the
that
Goodwill
these
Foundation
will
Learning
be
site again,
normally
and doing
absolute
some mobile device and wireless.
references in
One of the
our
things that we want you to get out of this, we also want
our
safety for those
formulas
because
that
these
we
are
put up
probably
here.
the ones that we worry most
You're going to
about.
calculate all of
Security,
these.
because
They're
one
all
thing
formulas.
is
You
you
don't
don't
pick
type
up
any
any
numbers
numbers
in,
in,
so people can get your
as
data
well
that
as
way. But also
wireless
the
in
summary
itself
statistics
is
that are
somewhat
here.
insecure.
You do not
unless
need
it's
to do
properly
this bin
secured.
array.
So
That's
you're
right
going
here.
to look at that,
Complete the quiz,
so in this
and
one,
work on that.
the
I'm
overtime
going to
pay
go
and
to
regular
charts
pay
first.
are both if functions.
So what I have here is
because
utilities
we don't pay
for
overtime
family, and we're going to
unless they
create some
work
charts
over
for that.
our base
Now,
hours
one of the
for our
things
work
that's
week.
new in Office 2000 or
Their regular
Excel
pay is
2013
calculated
that I
only on their
really
base
like
hours.
is the quick
So let's
analysis
just
tool.
do this
So I
first
am
one,
going to
and then I'll let
select
you
some
figure out
data.
the
And when I
overtime
select
pay.
the data, I
Now,
get this little
we
button
know that this
that's
base
called the
hours
quick analysis tool. This is
not
going to
in
need to
earlier
be fixed
versions
in our
of
formula, Excel.
So there's a
just
couple
in
of ways that we can
2013.
do this.
When I
We
click on
can
it,
use
it
the
lets
dollar
me do
signs
some
to do
quick
this,
analysis on my
or
data.
we can
In
name that
terms of
cell.
formatting, which is the conditional
Remember,
formatting,
named ranges
which we don't
are
go through,
fixed
but it's kind of
on
neat
their own. So the
that
first one I'll
you
do
can
with
highlight certain data based on the values
an
in it.
absolute cell reference.
But the one we want to
So
go to
in
is
order
the
to
charts.
do this one, I know I need
And I
an
can
if
create
function,
charts
so I'm
very
just going to type
quickly
if,
using this. And I'm just going to do a
and
clustered
find
column.
that
And this
particular
tries to
function,
suggest to
which
you
lets us
charts that would
check
be
whether
most
a condition
appropriate
is met
for your
and do
data,
something, whether it's
which
true
is
or
kind of
false.
nice because you
So I'm
don't have
just
to
going to do
think
OK.
so far ahead. You know, what's
My
going to show the
logical
data that I
test
want.
is I need
So
to
you'll
look
notice
at
it doesn't
how many
show pie
hours
charts
they work,
because that really doesn't fit this data.
we will
And
use
see
pie charts
if
later
that
on,
is
though.
greater than
So I'm going to choose a
the base
clustered column.
hours
We have
that is
clustered
down
and stacked
that would be
columns.
down here.
The
Now this
clustered
is the one I
column
need to make
shows the
fixed,
bars
so I'm going to
side
get
by
my
side.
F4 function key
Stacked
and
columns
put those
show the
dollar
bars on top of
signs
each
in
other,
that
so I can
formula.
get a
So you can see
total
I have
as
the
well
dollar
as the
signs in the
individual
formula
parts.
here.
But I'm going to go to a clustered column,
And
and for
creates
this
my
first
chart
person,
for
it's
me.
true. So they did work
So
overtime.
that was pretty quick.
And I can see that they did. So
I
that
can
looks
come
like
here and
that's
put
good.
in my chart title.
So if it's true, so I just click on
I
it,
just
and
want
it
to
doesn't show
take
up as you're typing it.
their
Notice
pay
it's in
rate,
my formula bar.
so their hourly wage,
times.
so I'm going to do utility comparison.
Once I
The
hit enter,
base
it goes
hours.
into my chart.
So
Now
I'm
I
going
have
to
some
pay
little
them the
tools
regular
over
rate
here that I
only
get
on those
with my
base
chart.
hours.
And
So
again,
that's
I can
going to
click
have
on the
to be
plus,
fixed. I'm
and
going
I
to
can
hit that
add or
F4
take
key
things
to make
away.
that absolute or
So
fixed.
if I
So they're
didn't
going to
want a
earn
legend, I can take it away here.
$398
Although for this one we do need a
in
legend
regular pay,
because we have
which sounds about
three
right.
different bars. We want to know
And
which
the
one's
value,
water,
if
fire,
it's false,
and
so if they
electricity.
didn't work
This is your
overtime,
legend
I'm simply
right
going
down
to take
here.
the hours that
By
they
the way,
work,
this is your category or
times
x-axis. This is your
their hourly
y-axis
wage,
or your value axis.
and that will give me
so each point is an intersection of
what
those,
they will
and
earn
you
as
can
their
see
regular pay.
that we can
And you
see
can
those.
see that the result I'm going to get in this one is
But I can add things like
$398
axis titles
because
if you
they
need
worked
them.
overtime.
Now, I would say I don't need these
So I'm
because
going to click
it's pretty
OK,
obvious that I have the
and
months
that will give me
in the
regular
category
pay.
axis and my
Now,
title or my
I
values
just
over
copied
in the
that
other
down,
one.
so I
don't
would not
really
add
need it
those.
in totals,
But
even
you
though
can
it
add
copied
things
it there.
to this if
Just
you
go down
want.
and delete that if you want. The second one is form or styles. So I
Overtime
can
pay
choose
is going to
different
be the
styles
same
or colors.
comparison,
And notice it shows
except for
me
the
ahead of
fact
time
that
when
I
I
am
point
just
them. So
going
as you're looking at those,
to
you
calculate
can see ahead of
overtime.
time, you know, what that's going to
So I
look
would
like
use
and
that
if
same
that
comparison.
does
If it's
anything
true
for
that they
you.
did work overtime,
I'm going
I
to
really
take
like this third button.
the-
This is the filter button.
the
So
number
we
of
have all
overtime
of this
hours that
stuff
they
out
worked.
here.
So I will
And
need to
we look at it and we say,
subtract
you know, the water, I'm not
the-
really concerned about that.
from the
I really
hours
just want to
worked,
look at
I will
gas and electric.
subtract the base hours.
I click
Again,
on my
that
filter
will
and
need
I
to
say,
be
don't want
fixed.
water.
And
then I will multiply that
I apply it,
times their
and the
hourly
water
wage
goes away.
If later on I want it back, I can hit on
times
this
their
filter
overtime
button
rate.
and I can take that away.
I could
So
also
that will give me my
get rid of
formula
certain
for
months
that
if
if
I
they
don't
didn't
want
work
them.
overtime.
It's
So
going to be
that's kind of a really,
0.
really neat filter or feature that's on those. So I just wanted to explain what those buttons are. Another thing I wanted to explain really quick is how we
So
move
one
a
of the
chart.
interesting things
We
about
don't
this
copy
formula,
and
I put
paste.
this up here,
But if I click on
is,
move chart, one of the things I can do
that
to put it
I'm
on a brand
getting
new sheet
the
by
wrong
itself
result
is
for this,
click on this new
for
sheet and give it a name.
for this. And one of the problems is,
And just call
and I'm
click
getting
OK.
540,
And
negative
this is what I get.
549.
I get a chart.
The problem
It's
is
on a worksheet all by itself. I
that
can't add anything
algebraic
else to
order
it.
of precedence.
It's easier to work with.
In this
easier
formula,
to see.
I need
and I
to
just have to
subtract
click on that sheet to see it.
So I
first,
really like doing
so
that.
that I can find the
Okay, some
hours
other
that they
things
work
I can
without
do
those
here.
parentheses.
Notice
Notice
I
I have
have
two toolbars
40,
with the chart,
the base rate,
So one of the things I can do on my
C5
design
times
toolbars, I
B52,
can change the chart
B22
here.
and then
so
subtracting
I
that
could
from
quickly go
D5.
maybe
So
to
the
a line chart.
parentheses
I
are
want to show you
very
a line
important
chart
in here.
because line charts are used to show trends over time. When we looked at our column chart, we really could compare which
And
one
they come up
column
with
is higher, which one is lower.
40
The
for
line
their
chart
overtime.
shows trends over time.
So that's going to be
You will
important in
notice
that
I
formula.
have progressive
I'm going to
time
just copy that again.
across the bottom.
You'll notice people that work
So I have
less than 40 hours
January,
or 40 hours
February,
or less do not get overtime.
Make that a
Okay,
little
gross
smaller.
pay is a fairly
little
easy
bigger.
formula.
January, February, March,
You just
April,
add
May.
the regular
Time that's
time and the
progressing.
overtime pay together.
19
You get gross
are
pay.
2010, 2011, 2012,
Taxable pay
2013. First
is
quarter,
what
second
we are
quarter,
going to
third quarter,
charge
fourth quarter.
federal income
Those are
tax
all
on.
examples of progressive
We
time.
need to take
That's
out
what
the
you will always
dependents
have
first.
on your
So
category
that's going to
access
be a little
for a
bit
line chart.
different. So
So
we're going
it shows
to
us
look at
trends.
those. I'm just going to put one in
So we
and
can
look at
see
the
going up, going down.
Okay, I have my gross pay in.
Peaks
Now I'm going to
and
look at
valleys. So
taxable
we
pay.
notice that
Okay, now I'm going to use a
our
named range
gas
for this
is high
one
in
to
the
show
winter
you how
months.
that
Our
would work.
electric is high
So
in the
what I
summer
need
months.
here is
So that's
for every
another
dependent
type
they
of
have,
chart.
we take $50
The other chart
off
I
of their
wanted to
gross
show you
pay
is
to get their
the,
taxable pay. So I know that this is going to have to be fixed. So I'm just going to click on this
the
cell
bar chart.
and I'm just going to call
Go
this
back to all charts.
the bar chart is and hit enter. Now that's a named
Similar
range.
to the column chart.
So when I do this formula,
except that it's horizontal
what
as
I'm going
opposed
to
vertical.
do
So
is
that's the
I am
only
going to
difference
do
between those. One more thing I wanted to show you is this switch column and row.
I'm going to take the
Right
gross
now,
pay
my legends
minus
are my utilities,
then I'm going
and
to take
then
the number of
it's separated out by
dependents
month on my category. If I want that
times
switched,
dependents.
I could do
now
that.
I can
So
type
now
in
I
the word
have
dependents
my months and my legend,
and
and
notice
I have
that
gas
eventually
and
I will
electric
see this
on
and
here.
I can
So
just
that's
double
just
click
that
on this instead of
switch
typing
column
it in.
and row. So I just
The other
really
thing I
wanted to
can
show
do
you
is
that.
if I just simply click on the cell now, notice that it puts the named range
Now I
in.
want to go ahead
So
and
I don't
go
have
back
to do the
my
fixed or
expenses
anything.
and do a different type of chart.
And notice this
which
is
is a
$100
pie chart.
less, which
Pie
is about
charts
right,
are used
which
when we
is
want to
absolutely
show
right,
the whole thing
because they have two dependents,
and what part
so
that
2
makes
times
up.
50 would be 100.
So I am going to select my
when I
electric,
copy
gas,
this,
and water.
this works. Because
And then I'm
that
going to select
dependence,
a
you
totally
notice every
separate range,
formula I
which
click
are
on,
my
it says
totals
dependence.
for the
That
year.
made that fixed.
So to do
So
that,
that's
for the
another way
second
to
part
do
of the
those
range,
fixed cell
I'm going to
references.
hold down my control key and then select those 3 cells.
Excuse me.
Now,
So that's something else that
it's
you can
important
do.
that I don't
Now,
hold
I'm
down
going to
the
do the
control
withholding
key
tax
for the first
because that will
range
be a
I
more
select,
complicated
but
formula.
hold it down for the rest
Before
of the
I do
ranges.
this, the one thing I'm going
Because
to do
if I hold down the
is
control
I'm going
key
to
for the
select
first
this
part I
table.
select, I'm going to get whatever
And
cell
I'm going
was
to
in
name it because
before I
it just
started
will
this
be
whole thing
easier.
as part of my range.
So
And
I'm
you
going
probably
to
will not
name
get a
this
chart.
tax
Notice I
table.
don't get my quick analysis tool here, so I need to go to insert,
Hit enter, and it just
and
makes
here
it
I can
easier
do
when
chart.
you're doing your
Another thing
VLOOKUPs.
that's new for
I need
2013,
to look up
recommended charts.
by their taxable
So
pay
if you don't really
what their
know which
tax
one you
rate
want to
is.
choose,
So
you
I
can go to
need
recommended,
that
see
lookup
all of them,
function
and
that
see
will
which
allow
one
me to
is
do
best.
that. And
And I
remember, it's
really
vertical.
like this
We're looking in
because you can see ahead
columns.
of time what things are
So
going to look
it's
like.
going to be
And
that
here I am going to
VLOOKUP
choose a pie
function.
chart.
So I'm just going to type in lookup,
And here's the VLOOKUP.
So I'm going to click
look up
OK.
in one column
and here's
of
my
value,
pie chart.
take a
Again,
corresponding
I have all the
value
tools
from
that I had
the next
before.
column.
This is on any chart, no matter
So
how
if
you
you
create
remember
it.
on that,
But you can see in my
first of
pie
all,
chart,
what
I can see
value
this is my
in our
whole
data
utility
are we
budget.
looking up in this
This is
table?
what makes up
Well, I'm
each
looking
one.
up the taxable pay in this
Okay,
column 1, so I'm going to put H5 in.
So
My table
that's
array,
my chart
this
title,
is the
and
one
usually,
I
or
named.
my
So I can either
pie
type
chart.
in tax
One
table
of the
or
things
just
you might want
select
to
those.
add here.
Notice when
I have
I
the
did the
legend
range,
at the
when I named
bottom.
the range or
I
selected
really
it,
need
I did
more
not include the
information
titles,
normally on the
just the
chart
data.
titles. So you
So
might
that
want to
will
go
let
to your
me put that in
style.
and not worry about
There
this.
are some
Remember,
different
column
styles
number
that show you different
is not
things.
a cell entry.
This is one
The
thing
first
I normally
column,
like
the
to do.
taxable
I
pay, is
want my
column 1.
percentages
The tax rate
in my
is
pie
column
chart
2.
because normally
So I
what we're
want to
doing
pull
with the pie
the
chart,
data from
what
column 2.
percentage of the whole thing,
And what I'm going to get
is
is
each of those
0.25.
pies.
And I'm
So
just going to
having
click
that
OK
percentage
here.
is really helpful.
And I'm not done with this formula. So what I get is 0.25.
That's
That's my tax rate I'm going to charge.
the other
I need
thing
to come
that
up
I
here and edit
sometimes
this
like
formula.
to do is have the
So I can just click
actual,
on my
instead of a
formula
legend,
bar to
have
do
the
it.
actual
Double click on the cell, hit F2, anything like that. I'm going to go to the very end of this formula
title
now
and
in
add
the
times
in the pie chart. So I can try the styles and do
the
that.
taxable pay.
The other way I can do that is
we're going
come
to charge
here,
it on the taxable
go
pay.
to my data labels.
So that's just what we're
and
going to take out
click on that arrow
of their
beside
paycheck
them.
for federal
Tell them
income
where I
tax.
want them. So I want them on the center. Okay, FICA
And
is
put
going to be a
those
very
in
simple
here.
calculation. You're going to take the gross pay, not the taxable pay, but the
Now,
gross pay.
and
Another way
multiply it
that
by
I
the
can
FICA
do
rate
this
down here.
that gives
And
me
again,
more control.
this will need to be
I
absolute or
can
fixed.
go
So name
to
it,
my
put the dollar signs in
format,
the formula, either one.
and
net pay now is
select
going to
certain
be
areas.
the gross pay
So I can say
minus your taxes. So gross pay, I
minus
want my legend
the,
or my series one
withholding tax
and actually do
minus
different
the
things
FICA.
to it.
That
The
will
other
give
thing
you
I can
your
do
net
is click
pay.
on the pies.
At the end, you're
and
going to
go
use the
into
sum
that.
function to total. So I can click on
the
those
overtime pay,
and
the gross
format
pay,
those.
the taxable pay, the withholding tax,
The FICA, the net pay.
just by coming over here.
You can total the hours worked,
totaling the
format
number
the
of
selection.
dependents, the hourly
and then
wage,
I can do all
the
kinds
regular
of
pay.
things
Really won't give you
with
any
my
good
format
information.
here.
It's not something would really total. It's just an individual thing for each
So
person.
I can
So you'll do that.
do the angle
And
of
then
the
down
slice,
here, you're going to do some
explode the
statistics.
pie.
So I want to
and
know the
pie
average
explosion
number of
just
hours.
means I am pulling this
The average gross
out,
pay,
and
the
that's
average
pulling
net
all of
pay,
them out. So I normally
and the
don't want
highest
to
and
pull all
lowest.
of them
All
out.
of those will be
But I can
functions.
explode the pies.
Remember, you have that min and max and average function that you can access over here from the auto sum or from the formula toolbar.
So I'm going to go
you'll
to
be
add
using
data
those
labels
for that.
and I'm going to do
And
the
again, you do not
center.
need to use the bin. One of the things I did want to show you
And
over
put
here,
those in.
excuse me, let me go back to my
I can
agenda.
also change the fill
In
colors.
this
Now on the
particular,
pie charts, to change the fill colors,
assignment we have
click
here, I'm
one
going to go back
time
to my
get everything.
modules
I'm going
for
to click
week
again.
13.
And one of
And
the
notice
things
that
now
I
I
just
did
have
put
one
in
piece of the
here.
pie.
So
Is
this
the
is a
payroll
way that I
sample.
can click on that
It's just a
fill
PDF file
and go there and choose a color and fill this with maybe
So I'm
a
just going to
different
open
color
that up.
because I don't particularly like that color. So
And
I
what
can
it
change the color.
is this
But that's just
Metropolitan Zoo
something with those pie
formatted
charts.
the way
that
that you need
pies,
it formatted
once on the
with
separate
all
ones.
of the numbers.
Again,
that
if
are
I
in it,
want to
so you
move
can
this,
tell,
I'm going to move this.
did I get the
worksheet,
correct
point
number?
to
Did
the
I get
edge,
the correct
You
result?
get your move pointer.
So all of
and
those
you
are
can
done,
move
so you
this
know what it
wherever
should
you
look
want
like
on
at
your
the end,
worksheet.
including the footer.
So
that
that
is
is
kind of
pretty
help
much
you
what you're
out
going to
with
be
that.
doing with
So
charts.
again, if you
This
have
is
any
kind of
questions,
more of the
email me this
more
week.
of the fun things.
You might want to
So
get
the
started
next
a little early because
video
this
is going
will
to be
take you a
talking
little bit of
about
time.
the
And
assignment
then
that
next
you're
week,
doing in
we
chapter
will
2.
start Project 4, Project 5, and then finish up with the final. So have a good week.